I remember back then when they used to call the guy Bukayo Saka world class. I remember arguing this every single time. And I once said, listen, if Bukayo Saka is world class, the man Riyad Mahrez is God class. Okay? And Jehovah Jireh knows the guy Mahrez is no fucking God class. So how in Elohim's name is Bukayo Saka a world class player? Now I'm not saying he was a bad player, but I keep watching this guy and all I see is athleticism and muscle. This one wasn't very present. I'm not saying he didn't apply brains, but his game was premised on his athleticism. And I remember saying this on radio one time. I can't wait to see him after a major injury. Knock on wood. I wasn't wishing for that, but I just knew that was going to slow him down somehow. And this season, most Arsenal fans are frying him, and I'm like, listen, you are the one who raised him to that level. He gave you some very consistent and clean performance. You should have left the man's expectation and the man's talent in that particular premise. Somehow you took him to a step he had not got into. Starboy gave him some weird names. And I remember one time, listen, you strike the iron when it's hot. I remember someone asking him, are you ever going to leave Arsenal? And he vowed not to. And I'm like, listen, this is football. You don't know when your peak is going to come and when it's going to end. I'm not blaming him for what is going through now. It happens in every footballer's career. But I think the more I look at the Arsenal fans after this Man City loss, they are all over the place and their fans are now turning on their star. But I'm like, is this really happening? They are calling for Max Dorman to be playing ahead of Bukayo Saka. I'm like, I fucking said this. Listen, I'm the kind of person who does not read meaning to age. If you are young and you are good enough, you play. I remember after preseason, I was advocating for the guy Rio Ngomoa to start for Liverpool and Max Dorman to start for Arsenal. Somehow, they never saw the day of light. They were always on the bench. Ironically, when Arteta needed someone to rescue him, he had to rely on the 16-year-old boy Max Dorman. Listen, it is not about age. It's about gift. It's about talent. If the player is good enough, you play him. And this is one thing happening in England. Okay? They do not know how to mold young players to become something very special or players we all can tell are gifted. Real Madrid do not mind bringing a player from Brazil somewhere to start playing, and he's 17 years. If you are gifted enough, they play you. Barcelona do not mind promoting a 17-year, 16-year-old. If they think you are good enough, you play. Somehow in England, to give a young player who is 16, 17, everyone can tell he is special, to give them the opportunity to play, they always want experience. Go on loan here, go and play 2 years before you come back. And somehow these loans, it is not everyone that it works well for. I'm just advocating for English football to start seeing football in the right way. Okay, they have been very gifted young players who came through the scene and somehow their talent was just cut short because of lack of trust in the English system. Thank God they had a Wenger back in the day. He was producing a lot of great young players, the Wilsheres, the Songs. Every player he thought had a bright future gave you the opportunity to express himself. And I won't forget the Jack Wilshere versus the Barcelona match. That was a delight. Wilshere versus Xavi and Iniesta, and the way this guy was moving, he was special. I think injury had the best of him, but I'm just advocating for the English football to allow young gifted players to play instead of being robotic